Greetings, everyone, and you are tuned in to the Maria Cozette Show, where the left brain meets the right. I have a very interesting guest today. He is an attorney and a meditation instructor, so stay tuned for that interview. And of course, for any further information about the show, visit mariacozette.com. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're tuned in to the Maria Cozette Show. I'm very happy to have this guest today. Extremely unique outlet that he has, an accomplished attorney and meditation instructor. Tigran Martinian, welcome.
Thank you very much for inviting me to your show.
Of course.
I'm honored to be here, and hopefully we'll have some fun discussing meditation and law.
Yeah, of course. Very unique guest, by the way. I've never had such a guest, so thank you for coming. And so first and foremost, before we talk about meditation, if you can tell me a little bit about your background as far as educational and professional in practicing law.
Absolutely. Thanks for the question. So I was born and raised in Armenia. I came to the United States in my teens, late teens. I went to law school and to a business school in Los Angeles. And I've been in business of law for about a little over 20 years. I've had my firm for a little over 13 years. And I specialize in representing people in front of juries. I'm a trial lawyer.
Right.
And my firm handles criminal defense cases and all kind of personal injury cases.
I see. So it's pretty intense, your job, and it's a good thing that you meditate and you're a master of it. So now let's talk about that. And so how did this passion come about? Because on my show, we talk about the left brain and the right brain, but meditation actually is influential on both sides of the brain and often is associated with learning and memory and a plethora of things. So how did this passion for meditation come about?
Well, it came about completely accidentally. I was at some event where some people were talking about meditation. They were talking about the benefits of the meditation.
Right.
And about 5 years ago. This is a relatively new thing for me. And I got to listen, learn, and next thing I know, I decided that given the profession that I'm in, this is something that I can learn and bring it to my profession, which will help me to become a better person, better lawyer. I can teach my clients meditation. I would become more mindful, and mindfulness would encourage my opponents to be mindful as well.
Right.
So roughly around 3 years ago, I became a certified master instructor with an organization called Mind Valley.
Nice.
The founder, Vishen Lakiani, is a master meditation instructor. And so I've learned and got certified by him back then. And since then, I think I've been making an impact to my profession and to my clients and to the outcomes of the cases that I handle.
Yeah, I'm sure. And so you mentioned certification. What is the certification process? What does it entail?
Sure. Well, it entails a lengthy educational process where you get the history, analysis, and a lot of practice into understanding what meditation is.
Right. And what is meditation?
Well, meditation is part of our lives. We all meditate on a regular basis without knowing that we meditate. But to simplify it, when you start understanding and doing meditation on a regular basis, it becomes part of you. Just the way we wake up in the morning and we have to go to the restroom, just the way we have to take a shower, just the way we have to drink water, just the way we have to brush our teeth. Meditation is that necessary component for our brain.
Right.
So once we understand and comprehend the importance of it, it doesn't become a thing to do, it becomes a thing that we have to do.
Right.
Our bodies, our brains demand doing it.
Yeah. And you know what, I was telling you a little bit earlier that I feel like myself and a couple of other people that I've spoken with that have not meditated before, they feel like it's not attainable, that they maybe can't do it, and it takes special people to do it. But that's not the case, and we know that everybody can meditate. It's just the intentional way in which you do it. And so with that said, what are the different ways that we can meditate?
So I think public at large has seen monks, Tibetan monks, meditating all day long. They go to monastery, they live there for 5, 10, 20 years, and all they do is meditate. And that's just the way Tibetan monks do it.
Right.
But throughout the years, ideas have evolved and approaches have evolved, where meditation is not just used in monasteries, but they're used to make us and make our brains to be better.
Right.
Just like in anything else, what I recommend my students, my friends, my colleagues, we all have to take baby steps. If every day we start by trying to meditate for 3 minutes for a week, and then 5 minutes for a week, and then 7 minutes for another week, in about a month you could start meditating for 10 to 20 minutes in the mornings, and that's something that is easily achievable. But if you start trying to meditate like a monk would for half an hour, obviously it's going to be difficult to achieve.
Right.
However, if you take baby steps would help you to achieve that with what is usually easily achievable.
Yeah, it makes it more feasible, exactly. And so as far as your sessions are concerned, because I love that, by the way, that you help your clients and you work with them in one-on-one private sessions, what is a part of those sessions?
Sure. So I'm just going to give a small comparison. When monks meditate, their goal is to turn their mind off and clear it off. Just that's it.
Right.
Most of them have no purpose, no goal. The only purpose and the goal is to clean up the mind and to have that tranquility. Kind of a selfish act. I didn't say it. All right. The approach that my teachers and my way of meditating is what we call a 6-step meditation.
Okay.
It has steps. It takes about 20 minutes to achieve. It has a purpose, and it's to achieve a goal. So it's a purposeful meditation. Once you purposefully meditate for about a week on a particular purpose, you leave that alone, and the purpose magically happens. Purpose magically takes place. So 20 minutes every morning. Here's the snapshot. Here's how it would work. You wake up. You have a cup of water, you go to the restroom, you don't check your social media, you don't touch your phone, you find a quiet, comfortable place, and you sit in a place where your head is relaxed and it's not leaning anywhere, and you close your eyes, you take 5 deep breaths, and you start, in my approach, you start with gratitude. You express gratitude to 2 to 5 things that happened to you yesterday in your life or whatnot.
That's beautiful.
Step 1. Step 2 would be to forgive someone that might have hurt your feelings in some way, somehow. Could be a big deal, could be a small deal. But it's very important to do the forgiveness. Usually, to my new students, I tell them, start with this, and then design your perfect day. By asking yourself, wouldn't it be nice? And you start your day. You design your own day.
Right.
That would be kind of step 4. Then next step is, depending if people have certain religious beliefs or whatnot, have a prayer. You're Christian, you have a Christian prayer. You're Muslim, have a Muslim prayer. You're Jewish, have Jewish prayer, and all the others. That would be kind of second level education in meditation. One important aspect of meditation is when you, for example, express the gratitude, don't just imagine the gratitude that you're expressing. Feeling with visualization go hand to hand. If you just visualize being grateful for something without feeling that gratitude that you're expressing, that by itself creates a very powerful event. When you're forgiving someone, don't just forgive by words, but forgive by feelings.
Right.
And then when you're visualizing your perfect day, don't just visualize it, but feel how great it would feel if that happens.
Right. These are all such beautiful concepts and ideals that you just mentioned, so gratitude and forgiveness, which brings me to the question of what are the fundamental ideals of meditation? What is the very foundation belief of meditation? Why is it done?
It's done to decompress your mind. It's done to trigger and turn on your creativity. It's done to have you imagine those things that you would usually not imagine when you're
in the middle of life. Yes.
And it's done to, in my opinion, it's done to open up possibilities and promote mindfulness.
Yeah, and so perfect. Thank you for saying mindfulness, because we hear that often. Some of us know what it is, some of us don't. But there is a distinction maybe between mindfulness and meditation, maybe not. But you can explain further on that.
Mindfulness is well, there's obviously a significant distinction between one and another. You become mindful through meditation.
I see.
In my opinion, mindfulness is stepping into the shoe of another, not to judge that person for a particular situation, and understanding that person and communicating with that person without judgment.
So being empathetic?
That's part of it.
It's a part of it, I see. And so what does your typical day look like? You know, you go to the office or court, and do you typically come home and meditate? You know, what does the day in the life of Tigran look like?
Thanks for that question. I think, well, this, as far as I'm concerned, meditation has to be done early in the morning when you just wake up.
Right.
Here's the reason. Our minds are most capable of creativity when our mind is at the theta level. So there are a few levels of our mind, right? There's alpha level when we're awake, and there's the theta level, which is we're kind of awake, but we're not really awake, and that's where creativity takes place.
Right.
Why is that important? Well, we're asleep for 7, 8, 10 hours. Our subconscious mind cooks a lot of ideas, a lot of things in our mind, but the second we wake up, we kind of forget all these things. Now, when you meditate, when you wake up, without drinking coffee, without checking phones or talking to anybody, some of the subconscious events that happen in your brain, they come through your meditation out.
I see. Interesting. That's very interesting, especially at the checking the phone in the morning. I think people will have the most trouble with that, but it's so important on a number of different levels. Aside from meditation, a lot of speakers like Simon Sinek and people that speak on leadership and connectivity between human interaction mention not to do that. Especially when there is a significant other next to you, talk to them instead of getting on your cell phone, you know? So these are tips and tricks to have a healthier and happier life. But so as far as frequency of meditation, should we do it every day?
So I meditate at least 5 days a week. Sometimes I don't meditate on the weekends. When I can, I do 7 days a week, because it's just part of what I do, and it's just it becomes part of your lifestyle. As I said, you can't go. I mean, you can go without drinking water for a couple of days, just the way you can go without meditating for a couple of days.
Right.
But meditation, for me and for people that start learning and meditating, becomes part of a lifestyle. It becomes drinking water. It becomes brushing your teeth. It becomes like taking a shower.
Right.
So it has so many aspects that it makes your life different. It makes your life more chill, more peaceful, and it helps you to be focused.
Right, I can imagine.
Just to talk about cell phones in the morning, I'm a big advocate of not having cell phones in the bedroom, having it somewhere else, because just imagine meditating once you wake up versus checking your phone. Somebody texted you, there's some kind of a bad news. You check some news feed, there's a bad news. Imagine what happens with your mind.
It's immediately gone.
Immediately gone. The subconscious mind's information that accumulated that night is gone, versus You go to the restroom, you drink your water, you meditate. Imagine what? Guess what? The 20 minutes or the 10 minutes that you're going to spend in meditation, your brain is on a different level of vibration. Your day goes differently. You actually have created your day through my system. So you become a happier person. You become more productive person. The smile is on your face. People look at you differently because you are different.
Right. Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, and you're more exhilarated and ready to take on your day and all the challenges that come along with our lives. And so I asked this question of all of my guests, and why do you think it's important as a professional to have this outlet, and how has it impacted your life?
Thank you for that question. So, being an attorney is a very stressful profession. Extremely, after dentists, attorneys are the most stressed professionals. And when you put in 10 to 12 hours a day dealing with people's problems, and it's not just clients' problems, it's problems of the other side, it's the problem of the judge, it's the problem of the prosecutor. When you deal with nothing but problems, obviously you solve them, your brain's capacity gets degraded to a certain level.
Yeah.
If you can meditate twice a day as an attorney, once in the morning and once in the middle of a day, your brain capacity gets revamped, and it gets on the next level. And as far as I'm concerned, when I started comparing my performance during my trials, before I started meditating and after, I had a monumental difference.
Wow.
Monumental difference, and I was actually shocked to be how sharp I can be, and I didn't know this side of me.
Yeah.
So professionally, it made a huge impact. As a human, it made a huge impact, and because of that, I'm advocating, teaching, and kind of contributing back to my profession.
Yeah, I really love that you're living to your fullest potential, it seems like, and really just a beautiful thing, meditation. Thank you so much for bringing this insightful conversation to my show. I appreciate it. And best of luck to you in all your endeavors. And of course, if you'd like to find out more about Tigran Martinian, you can visit martinianlaw.com or pastaban.com. So stay with us for more of the Maria Cozette Show.
To create along with nature. To masterfully blend subtle flavors. To trust time in the making of history. To share everything we are proud of. Ararat, from heart to heart.
Know the Greats, where we spotlight a legend. Eleanor Roosevelt was the First Lady of the United States from 1933 to 1945 and an advocate for human and civil rights. In her late teens, she became active in social work, volunteering in the slums of East New York, and in 1905, she married former President Franklin D. Roosevelt. In the 1920s, Eleanor worked as a literature and American history teacher in New York. However, she increasingly found time to become involved in local and state politics. As First Lady, Eleanor broke the traditional mold and became a highly visible figure, speaking at rallies and visiting unemployed workers. People felt a sincerity in her desire to aid the marginalized of the Great Depression. Eleanor served as a role model for women at a time when they rarely ventured out of domesticated life. With great enthusiasm for the ideal of the United Nations, Eleanor helped draft the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which was adopted by General Assembly in 1948. Eleanor considered this her greatest achievement and called it an international Magna Carta of all mankind. And I quote, The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. The Art of Giving, where we spotlight a nonprofit organization. Wine to Water raises funds to combat the world water crisis and additionally execute their own programs that aid in the implementation of the Sawyer filter, a water purification device. This process depends entirely on the building of relationships with Wine to Water's global partners to seek long-term solutions. Currently, Wine to Water has 3 international offices and employs a collaboration of qualified nationals who work full-time towards sustainable clean water solutions catered to the specific country's needs. So who founded this organization? In February 2004, a man by the name of Doc held his first fundraiser, and by August, he was living halfway around the globe in Sudan, Africa, installing water systems for victims of the government-supported genocide. His life would never be the same, especially after 2 of his team members were killed. After spending 1 year in Darfur, Doc returned home. The haunting memories of what he had witnessed drove him to continue building the organization he started with that first fundraiser in a bar. Doc was determined to provide clean water for the world, and in 2007, after working 2 jobs and volunteering his time for 3 years, Doc launched Wine to Water. His dream of fighting the world's water crisis became a reality. To find out more about this amazing organization, visit winetowater.org. That's a wrap for the Maria Cozette Show. Thank you so much for tuning in. And of course, much love to my guest today, Tigran Martinian. Thank you so much for sharing with us the world of meditation. For any further information about the show, updates and all that, go to Facebook, like our page, follow us on Instagram, and always remember to stay creative. Now, I will take a moment to meditate.